Hi there. Do you see the guy on the left trying to make some last-minute changes while the video has already started? That's me. My name is Lukas, and recently I traveled down to Kaohsiung to meet my friend Andy. That's Andy. And as you may already know if you've seen our first video, we had a long and nice conversation regarding his family, his pregnant wife, and why they decided to leave the US and move here to Taiwan during the middle of the pandemic. But if you watch that video to the end, you know that in the end of that video, this happened.
Was she even able to get out from the quarantine before she had a baby?
Can I help with the timeline? Sorry.
Okay, wait. Come here. We have now we have the expert here. Take a chair.
Oh no.
Now
我不是故意的. You're talking about me, and I was the one who had the baby. And they keep saying, oh, you were 7.5 months pregnant, you were 8 months pregnant, you were 9 months pregnant. But what it actually was I got on the plane when I was 35 weeks pregnant. So 35 weeks out of 40. I think 40 is the most accurate way to say it. 35 weeks pregnant out of 40. And I thought that quarantine would be 2 weeks in Kaohsiung. Yeah. And then I could go to the hospital. Thankfully, it wasn't too much of a surprise that I was coming for the hospital because I had a connection. I had some guanxi with some people there and they knew I was coming. So I had sent them my medical records. I said, hey, I'm going to be coming right out of quarantine. Can you take me?
Oh, so they were prepared.
They were prepared. They at least knew I was coming. I didn't just show up, so pregnant. So.
Didn't mention that part.
She's smart.
And I find out that we have this thing called self-health management.
Yeah.
I didn't know that self-health management was a thing, but apparently after quarantine, there's 7 days actually, where you can't go anywhere basically other than maybe a convenience store. You can't really go to large areas, and a hospital is included in that. You can't go to the hospital for that 7 days of health management.
Really?
Yes.
Even if you're like 37.
So at that point I was 38 weeks out of 40. 38 weeks pregnant. I could not. So I had to wait till like the end of my 38th week, like almost 39 weeks pregnant. And then I could finally go to the hospital the first time.
Okay, so can I ask you that?
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to come to Taiwan so close? Because I mean, obviously you knew 35 weeks prior that you were gonna have a kid around this time.
Right. We didn't know how long our visa was going to take, and we understand government paperwork takes a long time. And so we applied for our visa in October of 2020, but we did not receive the visa until May 5th, 2021.
But he said that you came here like May 15th.
Yeah,
because it took us 10 days to.
As soon as we got it, we bought the plane ticket.
So you landed in Taiwan like 10 days after you got the visa.
Yes.
With a family of 2.5.
Yes.
Yeah. And you wanted to come.
But that's crazy though.
Because I saw that the COVID cases were growing in Taipei. I thought the country might be closed. I trust Taiwan enough that if something had happened to me, like if I had started having the baby during quarantine, I think someone would have helped me. But
I would have been looking up on YouTube how to deliver the baby at home.
So can I ask you then, because I feel like you're also in a very, very unique situation because you've actually had 2 babies in the States and then 1 here in Taiwan.
Yes.
Is there a difference? What is the difference?
Yeah, I mean, I think once it's your 3rd baby, I also could trust the process a lot more.
I don't care anymore. It's the 3rd one.
Yeah. Same old.
I kind of knew how it worked, right? And I could trust myself a lot more. Praise God. Wow.
You can smile? You need a bath, don't you? You like those lights? 很舒服.
It was helpful to be near my family when we had our first baby and then we came back from China to have our 2nd baby. My family was a little sad to not be able to actually meet our baby Daniel yet. He's 6 months now, but there wasn't that much of a difference, honestly. And the nurses were so kind and they wanted to make sure I understood everything. And luckily my Mandarin listening is better than my speaking. And so I was able to understand most of what they were saying. And if it was like a really complicated medical word, I could look it up. But so many things that they were doing, I was like, oh, I've seen that before. I don't even need a translation. I've seen that.
The first baby and 2nd and then 3rd baby. The first baby is so life-changing that it's very different than having your 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
And so you know what to expect.
I'm sure it would have been fine having our first baby here too, but I think understanding more of the process helped us with the short timetable. I think the risk was only just really the short timetable. You know, women have babies all over the world.
Was there actually any differences though?
Yeah, I think it was pretty similar. I do think they were very, very kind to me, and they had a lot of empathy for my situation, I think. Yeah, I think the biggest difference was the medication was different. In America, we take more medication during and after the birth. And so it was actually a little bit more painful here because the amount of medication they gave me wasn't the same. If you're a woman, you know there's many different ways to give birth, and different women have different opinions how much medication to take. This was my third baby, and I have a couple health problems, and so I thought I wanted to take all the medication. But the amount they gave me in Taiwan was different than in America, and so I think maybe it just hurt a little bit more because of that, but it wasn't that bad.
So is it something you could recommend then? If you have like foreign friends who are questioning?
For sure, yeah. When I had birth in America too, I just had to choose to trust the nurses and trust the doctors. Of course, there might be some times where you disagree, but there are some times that I just need to trust and say, okay, they can see my body, they probably know what they're doing. And then ultimately just trust God, because I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong when you have a baby. I think it's better to just think positively, trust God, trust the doctors and nurses. If you have some requests, then make some requests. But ultimately, what's important is that we had a healthy baby. And I'm just so thankful the baby came out at the right time, in the right place. He's a real Taiwanese. He hasn't even been to America.
Real Taiwanese.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Wow. Did you also do the thing like after the birth when you go to like the hotels and you be like pampered, taken care of?
Yeah. Oh, I knew someone was going to ask me that when I got on this video.
So I will say something about that. So we did not do the traditional 坐月子, but this is another thing that was kind of a blessing through all this is because of the pandemic, my job was more flexible at that time because things were so shut down. And so I was able to help a whole lot and make that first month not too difficult for Cassia. And so I watched Eden and Esther a lot during that time, and she was, you know, feeding Daniel and taking care of herself, and so that was a blessing.
I understand like you spent like most of the time like at home and not having really going out and exploring Taiwan.
Right.
But have you noticed already any differences of like raising children in Taiwan versus back home in the States? I'm thinking just like, you know, I saw like in one of your videos you were eating like hummus.
Yeah.
Is that like the baby food you would have in the States? Or like stuff like this. I have no idea. Changing diapers with chopsticks or like I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know.
Diapers
like,
with chopsticks.
I don't know anything.
Costco is very helpful.
One difference is in America, we often have homes that are standalone homes, and then we have backyards. And so I think that actually is one of the things that influences the day-to-day life of a mom the most. If we were in America, if we had a small home, I might have a place where I could just open the door and then the kids would run outside and play freely, and we would maybe have a fence around it, right, so that they couldn't.
He throws them up on the roof.
Well,
We don't have a backyard here, but we have a roof, and we were playing tag, and we play hide and go seek up there, and so
yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's really convenient that's only one floor above us. We can go straight up to the roof, just walk up the stairs, and that was one of the reasons why we chose this apartment. So they can run around and play on scooters up there. So and
we should also say kick bikes. They don't let them go on scooter. If you say scooters,
sorry.
motorcycles.
If you say scooters, my translator is going to be super confused.
Motorcycles.
Like kick bikes.
Kick bikes.
Yes. Thank you. I learned a new translation. Kick bikes. Now I know. Yeah. So I think there's more safety considerations here. So my children need to hold my hand very tightly when we cross the street. They need to be always aware of the moving scooters and the moving cars. So I think Taiwanese mothers have a big job to really because there's so many people and living closely together. They have to really train their children to obey well and to stay with them. And I think sometimes American children are more independent. You saw our children. They like to run back and forth and play freely, which is great. Having some independence is great too, but we just need to make sure that our children know what the rules are so that they can be safe.
安全第一.
Yes. 安全第一.
So can I ask you then, like, I don't need you anymore. Just kidding. And it's okay, you can go home and do something. Like we're doing a new video here. I just want to focus on like the future here in Taiwan. But I think that would actually have to wait for another video. So if that is something that you want to see, please do make sure to subscribe to my channel. And of course, make sure to support Andy in Taiwan. And you also get to see the amazing videos of his amazing family when they actually get to explore everything here in Taiwan for the first time. If you haven't done it already, for the first time, please do make sure to subscribe to his channel as well. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lukas. It starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.
Bye.